Hello, hello. Welcome back to MTD CNC North America. I am at Methods Machine Tools here in Michigan, and I have the great pleasure to talk with my buddy Steve. Now, Steve has been doing this since the mid-70s, around 35 years, and 16 years specifically with Methods in Michigan and Northern Ohio. So, Steve, thank you so much for being with MTD CNC.
It's a pleasure.
Well, let's talk a little bit about service and support. I imagine since doing this since the mid-70s, you've probably seen almost zero changes, right? And jumping from one place to another and having the great privilege to work with the exquisite machines that Method sells, I imagine it's been kind of a fun roller coaster.
It's been a wild ride, to say the least. When I started, the controls were just one line of control. Now we have, look ahead and 31i controls, automation. Automation before was just sticking the part in.
Before we were the automation.
Exactly. So it's come a long way. Like you said, I've been with Method for 16 years. Got 8 service techs out in the field. We try to get service within 24 hours if we can.
Wow.
So like I say, it's been a ride. So
I can imagine. So what was it like? I mean, obviously we're encapsulating the 70s to we're now, 2020 and beyond, right? So we're encapsulating decades of time, but what was it like as a transition of service when it was tape style machines to floppy style machines to the Rita heads that are faster than my brain by far?
Well, the biggest thing is diagnostics. The diagnostics has changed so much. Where in the past you'd spend 2-3 days looking for problems. Now you can throw the control open and find them in a couple minutes. So it's easy to trace down with the ladder logic. So it's been just you've been in the business so long, you just don't notice the changes as you're coming up because they hit you a little bit at a time. But to go back in the 70s, it was pretty much a wrench and a hammer.
That's all I still know how to use is a wrench and a hammer.
There you go.
So don't you just hit it, put some duct tape on it, and then it's good to go?
For a long time, that was our theory. Hit it with a big enough hammer and throw some duct tape on it and get the next part out. So.
Well, being here at Methods for 16 years, if I was your customer, I'd imagine that seeing a familiar face and hearing a familiar voice and knowing the experience that you have coming into the industry would be comforting for someone like myself, because one of the worst things that can happen is have a machine go down, and having someone like you and a familiar face would bring that piece of comfort to me.
Well, we consider ourselves part of the team, our customer's team. If they have an issue, they call me either directly. I'm available on the weekends. I get to know these guys pretty well. First name basis, we joke around. And I also try to get out and help them out personally too. We have a really unique customer base. They're very personable. Like I said, I've known them for years. So.
When you say unique, do you mean the personality and unique characteristics of the people here, or some of the companies in like the automotive world? I mean, we know this area to be quite productive.
Well, this is the Midwest. We have to deal with the union aspect of it also. A lot of our customers are union based. Some will let you work on machines, some won't. With that being said, we get to know the maintenance crew pretty well. If they're confident and comfortable with us, they'll let us come in, work on their machines. If they're not, they just let us watch. We've been dealing with Chrysler, Ford, GM, and all their suppliers, the engineers that put the projects together. It's a little bit different in the Midwest.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a fantastic, massive facility here, and I know you guys have the ability to work on a lot of turnkey projects as well, which is a benefit to anyone who gets to be involved in that kind of thing. And for you being here, 16 plus years, I'd imagine you've done a lot of, overseeing that kind of work and make sure that your customers are taken care of from that side of things. And you mentioned try to get things done in 24 hours whenever possible. To have so many pieces and components of machines on site, I can imagine would be a benefit as well.
Yeah, we can manufacture parts if we need them. We have a lot of outside vendors we can go to if we get creative sometimes when repairing machines. If the parts aren't available, we try to get them back up and running as quick as possible.
And Steve, I know that business has been going really well in this area, and you mentioned you have 8 service guys, but are you also hiring?
We are definitely hiring. In the past, I had really no issues getting people aboard. Right now, if you're looking want to service machines in Ohio or Michigan, give me a call. I'm looking for at least 3 techs right now.
You heard that, guys. So Michigan and Northern Ohio, Methods Machine Tools, you know these guys. Everyone knows these guys. I'm looking for at least 3 people, probably more moving into the future as well.
Absolutely.
But if they're going to give you a call, how would they best find you? What's the best resource?
Your best resource is to send a resume into our MI service at methodsmachine.com. That goes directly in, like review everything. So,
coming from MTD, let me just say thank you for being a part of this industry, doing what you do as far as supporting the customers in this area and sharing that story with MTD's global channel.
my pleasure.